So it's after Warriors of the Net that we have to go back in and kind of clean up the explanation of how the internet works. But we actually talk in CS50 more about HTTP as a representative protocol than about TCP/IP, even though the whole setup is about how home networking and how the internet works. HTTP is really where we bring the conversation back to application layer programming,
right.
For the web in this case. And indeed with HTTP, we have an opportunity to talk about what a protocol is. Like the example I always give, if you'll humor me, is like, hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
And you sort of acknowledge that initiative of a protocol that I just commenced in. And it's a silly little human tradition, but it's an example of a protocol. Like I extend my hand, you extend yours, we shake, transaction complete. So not unlike the TCP, pun intended, three-way handshake. But with HTTP too, we have some opportunities to discuss like what it really is. And even though it is a protocol, which is fancy sounding, we try to help students realize that it's just textual messages really inside of a virtual envelope, if you will. And one of the demonstrations we'll often do is take out an envelope and some sheets of paper, write the messages on them, put them inside. And if you really want to go down that road, you can start talking about how the HTTP packet is inside of the TCP packet, is inside of the IP packet, and so forth, all the way down to.
And you can actually take a picture and cut it up into different pieces so that you can then have TCP reassemble it later on.
Indeed.
Is there a reason that you wanted to focus on the hypertext transfer protocol as opposed to SMTP, so email? I mean, I guess HTTP is familiar to students, but
I think just more familiar, indeed. I mean, most people assume that or equate the web with the internet, even though there are certainly any number of other services like SMTP and email more generally. So HTTP is just also the domain in which we're going to be playing with web programming, and so it just seems to make sense there. And students have seen it in various contexts. Sometimes you see cryptic-looking things in the URL, sometimes you don't, sometimes the browser warns you that you're about to resubmit a form. So there's a lot of ways now to tie together things they've seen in the real world and actually explain what's going on technologically.
That's fair. You don't really get those sort of error messages or visual cues from SMTP or FTP or something. Yeah.
And this is nice too, even though we throw away some of the more distracting HTTP headers, like you can start to wrap your mind around these kinds of messages and understand what it is that's going on.
And it's not all that arcane. It's GET. Like, that's pretty intuitive what it's going to do, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. And what's nice too is because once we start to reveal a few more headers, like the set cookie or the cookie headers, can we discuss how you can build on top of an otherwise stateless protocol states. And then we can also talk about security or session hijacking or theft of cookies and why encryption and HTTPS is a good thing, which brings us back then to week 2 in our discussion early on of cryptography, albeit with a more sophisticated cipher at this point. So there's a lot of like nice intersections with topics past that this allows us to revisit and then go beyond.
And one other great thing about the fact that we do take a look at HTTP headers is it gives us a chance to take a look at, in Chrome, the Chrome console, the inspector, which students will then later use, in particular with JavaScript. So it gives them a sense of that tool that's been baked into their browser that they might not have had a chance to use before.
Indeed.